Hello Capricorn friends, this is Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Capricorn May 2023 Astrology Horoscope forecast. I'm very happy to share with you that the theme of this month from my perspective is called 5 Huge Reasons for Capricorns to Smile Big. If you've been listening to my work for a while, you know that I have quite a few placements in Capricorn myself, so I am smiling big with you. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cap placement you're watching for. This is going to be part of your astrological picture. And if your birthday is from around January 15th through the rest of the sign, or you have a Cap placement around 23 degrees or so through the rest of the sign, so basically our very late degree friends, I suggest you additionally listen to my Aquarius report because you very late degree people will benefit from both the Cap and Aquarius readings. Okay, so here's the list of things we're going to cover today. 5 huge reasons to smile big. I'm going to blow through these really fast and then go into details, including showing you the chart. If you don't love to see the chart and you don't like my visuals, can't imagine why, but if you don't, you can definitely find this syndicated on podcast. If you search for Astro Kisses with Annie Botticelli, you can listen to this audio only. And if you are listening to the audio version and you want to see my visuals, you can go to Annie Botticelli on YouTube and check out the visuals. Okay, so I'm just going to blow through these because we're going to go into more detail. But the first big, huge reason to smile big is a mega Trine bundle. Okay, there's a massive amount of energy in Taurus this month, including some big things like Jupiter sign change into Taurus, and all of this is creating the most favorable aspect in all of astrology for Capricorns. I'm hoping that this brings us a lot of relief and blessings, and I'll go into those details later. The second is that we've got 5 sweet water and earth aspects. Now this is beautiful for everyone in the zodiac, but water and earth signs are going to have extra special kisses from these beautiful aspects this month. The third is that Saturn is in a great aspect for Capricorn for 3 years. So this is an ongoing blessing. The fourth is that Mars has been opposing your sign, which has been possibly causing some wonderful things, but probably a pressure point too. So that opposition is going to be officially ending this month. And then we've got that lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is actually in a friendly angle for Capricorns. Okay, so lots of intensity coming from that eclipse, and at least from the perspective of your Capricorn placement, it's in a good angle. Here is a list of a few things that I will be sharing with all of the signs, and some of these have a crossover to my nice list we're going to talk about that are some specific things for Cap, and some of these things are different, and we'll go into them as well. So we'll talk about the full moon. We'll talk about a couple of aspects of note. We'll talk about Mercury retrograde versus direct, and talk about the new moon in Taurus. Okay, so here we go. We go into more details about those 5 reasons, huge reasons to smile big. A couple of other things I want to mention right at the beginning here. We do have another month of more sweet aspects compared to salty ones. Now that's not everything, but it is something. And we want to take everything we can celebrate for, right? So there are some dicey aspects. We'll talk about one of them, some challenged aspects, but there are more of the sweet ones. Okay, so we're going to celebrate about that too. That's an additional reason to celebrate, not even on my original list. And I also will tell you that there are other things that are going well for Capricorn that are not even on my list. Okay, so I had to choose some things to narrow down, but just know that with you, I am excited for some good energy for us to hopefully have a break and some relief, which I know we all need. Okay, so let's get into the first reason. This Taurus bundle here, now, truth be known, these 2 star goddess planets, Sedna and Juno, will be switching right out in the first couple of days of May, so I didn't even include those on the list. But the trines with those placements have been occurring for us over the past few months, okay? So positive kisses to relationship, abundance, our money consciousness. That's some stuff that has been happening. It's phasing out now, but we can focus on North Node, transiting North Node, star goddess Estrella, star goddess Vesta, Mercury, the Sun, and Uranus, all in the sign of Taurus. Jupiter moving into Taurus for the first time in 12 years. We'll be focused there for a whole year. And then, of course, that new moon on May 19th in Taurus. All right, so all of this is happening in the most favorable angle in all of astrology for Capricorns, called the Trine. 120-degree angle occurs when planets move through a sign that is of your same element, but not your sign. Okay, so when Virgo planets happen, or placements, Taurus planets happen, this happens for you, and this is happening in a huge way. So every single one of these things that I pointed out could actually be their own reason to smile big, but there were just too many of them. So I'm bundling them all in one thing. So what does that mean? That means chances for you to get super efficient with your work so that you can work less and earn more. Self-sufficiency, increases in income, financial security and stability, things having to do with your sustainability, emotional, mental, financial, projects that are tangible, things that are not in the realm of ideas, that are in the realm of manifestation. So this is a major time of manifestation for Caps. All right, so things that you've worked on for a while could be coming through here. We do have that retrograde, which tilts things to the past. So this could be blessings from the past in a major way. Grounded, practical things, tangible, material things, okay? And all of this is accentuating your fifth house of creative expression. So the things that bring you the most joy. Your sacred flame is being fanned here, both through Vesta, star goddess Vesta, who is the guardian of the sacred flame, and also through this energy of the fifth house being accentuated so beautifully. So bucket list things you've always wanted to do, creative projects, things that put you where your gifts are being seen and appreciated and recognized. Anything having to do with children, whether they're creative babies or real kids, or whether they're your own or you're working with kids or key children close to you. Romance, true love. All of this is fifth house, and all of this energy is here. So things having to do with really grounded practical benefits from all of this passion and all of this excitement. This is the stuff that lights your heart on fire. It feels like your soul is quenched. And it's in this very practical Taurian energy. So it lights up your spirit, but then it also kind of just shows up right here in the material realm. Okay, so that's very exciting. So major progress can happen along any of those fronts. Dating could be very lively. Zest being breathed back into your relationship. Just, very, very, very exciting. Okay. And then of course this May 19th new moon at 25 degrees of Taurus, new moon, new beginnings in any of these arenas that I mentioned. And that can benefit all Cap placements, but those of you who are in the late degree, what did we say that was? 25 degrees. Okay. So those of you between 20 and 29 degrees, so late degree friends, closer to 25 degrees, you'll get the biggest kiss from this, but everyone else is not being left out. Okay. Sometimes people say, what about me? Don't worry. This is good for everybody. But if you have placements in that zone, you're more likely to get a big kiss in the days around the 19th from that new moon. So that's going to relate to like January 11th or 12th through the end of the sign. And then the closer you are to like the 16th or 17th or something like that is the bigger kiss. The biggest kiss. Oh, oops. Where do we go here? Okay, so that is all under reason 1, mega trine bundle of ultimate proportions. Another reason to celebrate that's not on this list is that what preceded this beautiful trine frenzy for us was this massive square frenzy. Okay, so if you've listened to my Aries report, you'll know what I'm talking about here. If you haven't, go back and do that, because before a lot of these placements got into Taurus, we had a similar extensive showing in Aries. And for Caps, that is the square placement. So the pressure was on in home and family. There may be some carryover of that into May. You'll be feeling the pressures for better and worse. But that starts phasing out now into these glorious trines, okay? So we're not only celebrating about the sweet energy, we're celebrating that the pressured energy is now shifting. Now, all of this, most of these are short-term energies, so really isolated around this period of time. But the one thing that is not, well, besides Uranus, of course. Uranus is a slow-moving planet, so you've been having trines with Uranus for many years. And now Jupiter, as it moves into Taurus, you're going to spend from this May till next May of 2024 with Jupiter making trines to all of those Cap placements, okay? Expanding love, bringing in your true love if you haven't found them, coaxing the true love out of the person that you're with, seeing that person in there that can come out, possibly there, that could be happening, and your creativity soaring, and just, being able to look at the world with childlike wonder. That is not a natural trait of Capricorn, right? Because as we talk about all the time, because it is relevant to everything, Cappies always have a massive amount of responsibility. It's very unusual for people with strong Cap placements to not in some ways be super responsible for other people, either through being in a management position, being an employer, or taking on extra work. Even if you are not in one of those roles, you might tend to be the go-to for things in your office for projects, and also responsibility for family, and just sort of the person who is the glue that holds things together. So the energy we're talking about here, even though it is practical because it's in Taurus, it is lighting up that space of that childlike wonder. And this is something that I've been working on with you all as I'm working on it with myself, and I have pearls to share. These longer term stories for Capricorn are giving us opportunities to have more freedom from unnecessary obligations and unnecessary responsibility. And this could be a time where you really go through your list of things that you're responsible for, and you write a list of the things you absolutely can't get out of or don't want to get out of. Okay. And then you write a list for someone else to do. And that can include spirit. Okay. So infinite spirit, whoever you pray to, whatever, resonates, words resonate there for that benevolent creator, creatrix, there are some things you can put on the list for the creator. And one of the sayings I like, and this is associated with Christ consciousness, but it's not limited to, Christian faith. There's a lady named Florence Scovel Shinn. She was a teacher of Jesus as a metaphysician, basically saying that he was teaching us, or is teaching us, to transcend the material realm while still in the material realm, and calling this heaven on earth, more or less. So she has this saying, I cast the burden on the Christ within and I go free. All right. Now you can use your version of whatever that word is, that consciousness is for you, basically giving it over to spirit. And then you can have more energy to just be with the childlike wonder of expression and creativity and love and fun. This is also the house of fun. You can see why I'm so worked up about this. Okay, so the next things that are on our 5 huge reasons to smile big for Cappies is we've got 5 sweet water and earth aspects. Whenever that happens, whenever there's a nice aspect in the sky, we all can get goodies. Everyone in the zodiac is open to have those goodies. But if you have placements that tie directly in mathematically to those, to that sweet series of aspects, then you have a chance to have even more goodies. All right, so here is a little list. Okay, so we're going to blow through this list, and do know that if you would like to have more details about sweet aspects that are happening this month, challenge aspects that are happening this month, every month, delivered to your inbox 1 month early, go to anniehelpsyou.com. I'll talk about that more later. But basically, you get a write-up of all of the aspects that are notable delivered to your inbox 1 month early, including a written overview of the month, okay? So you can sign up for my free newsletter there. Some of this chicken scratching here, sorry if you can't read it well, it's more notes so I can remember what to tell you about. But we've got these 5 aspects all in water and earth. On the 12th of May and the 18th to 19th of May, we've got Mercury making an aspect of opportunity, positive opportunities with Saturn and Pisces. The reason why this is happening twice, and actually happened 3 times, one earlier in April, is because Mercury in its retrograde cycle crossed over, retrograded back into the aspect, and then went direct. We'll be going direct, and then we'll do it again. So this is, again, the story of intuition that leads you to material joy. And when I say material, it doesn't have to be financial. It can be the growing of a garden. It can be, sustainability projects. Material is not implying financial, but it could include financial. Okay. So the 12th and 18th, we've got that. We've got Venus in Cancer, trining Saturn on the 13th. We've got Mars in Cancer, or making a trine with Neptune in Pisces on the 15th. And then we have Venus in Cancer making another degree of opportunity, or 60-degree angle of opportunity with the surprise planet Uranus on the 26th. Okay, so we're not going to dive too deeply into this. The point of me talking about this was to let you know that you can get extra special kisses. Now, everyone in the zodiac can get these, but people in water and earth who have water and earth placements can have extra kisses. And those of you who are close to the degrees that these aspects are occurring at can get even more kisses. Okay, so the one on the 12th, the 13th, 18th, 19th, that's all at 6 degrees. So December born Cappies can get extra goodies from that one. Then those who are more in the middle degree, everybody's getting kisses here. Okay, so everybody who's like from 14 degrees through 24 degrees. So that's like January 4th through 14th or 15th. And the closer to like the 19th or so, not the 19th, the 9th, because it's 19 degrees. So basically between 14 and 24 degrees, the closer to 19 degrees. And that equates to around January 4th or so through around January 14th or so. And the closer you are to around January 9th or 10th, the more you get the bigger kiss there. And then this one on the 15th with Mars making a trine with Neptune, all of the late degree friends. So around 21 degrees through the end of the sign. So that's basically going to be like January 11th through the rest of the sign, and the closer to January 15th or 16th, the more you get that kiss. But all this whole storyline of earth and water is really centered around matters of the heart blending into matters of material, intuition leading into tangible gains, and your inner world and your outer world being at peace and having harmony. Okay, so the third of my 5 huge reasons for Caps to smile is that Saturn is in a great aspect for Cap for 3 years. All right, so let's just take a look at this in the chart. Saturn is here in Pisces. It's going to move through your 3rd house of transportation, information, devices, how you relate to other people. A lot of your relatives are in there, cousins, aunts, uncles, nephews, basically everyone who's not your kids or parents are in this house. So Saturn can be known to, I call him a chop buster. He wants discipline. He wants consistency. He, is like that old stern grandpa that's looking out for your good, but he's maybe a little grumpy with how he transmits that information. But it's in a nice angle for Capricorn. So this could be like gentle development of these areas. And one of the biggest things that's happening with Saturn and Pisces is helping us to master our mind and dive deeper into intuition and using those insights to help us have more fulfillment in our lives. People sometimes call intuition gut, okay? They say it's their body knowing, right? That is just a secret way of saying intuition. So development of your intuition to be used in business practice, to be used in your personal interactions. All of that is the story over the next 3 years of Saturn in Pisces. And it's making these nice angles for you. Okay, so you're going to develop the capacity to further realize what you need, figure out how to convey that to other people, and be a deeper listener to what people are saying and not saying, so that they can be better understood, so that you can enrich all of your relationships and everyone can get more of what they want. And how magical is that? So that's the process over the next 3 years, and that's a nice aspect for you. All right, let's talk about this number 4 huge reason with Mars opposition ending. An opposition is when there's a 180-degree placement or transit. 180 degrees always gives us that feeling like we're being pulled in 2 different directions. So yourself and your family are being pulled in 2 different directions. You've had things going on. Your family has things going on. Other people in your life that aren't your family who are close to your heart have things going on. Maybe your spouse, maybe a close friend, maybe an employee or an employer. And you are feeling it because you have your needs and they have their needs. and you've got to show up for everybody. Okay, so this has been happening as Mars has been moving through Cancer. All right, so this started happening in March into May. Now, 2-month or so transit, Mars is doing this. Now, it can help you to get on the same page with someone and really feel like, wow, we're working together. Or it can make you feel at odds with people in your life where there's arguments and you're not getting along, and you're likely to see both. Okay, but the good news here is that whatever work was done over this time will probably have been very productive. And as of this month, Mars is moving into Leo, which means that this opposition is ending. So that will take some of the pressure off there. Okay, so the last thing on the huge reasons list, now do know, even though I'm giving you the last reason here, I do want to hit another couple of places on my general transit list. But the eclipse is in a friendly angle, and this is actually number 1 on my general transit list. May 5th, we're having a full moon lunar eclipse at 14 degrees of Scorpio. Eclipses tend to bring radical new beginnings, emotional endings, changes of chapter, saying goodbye to certain things and saying hello to other things in a very big way, trajectory shifts, burning off of karma. And this all has to do with other people's money or shared resources. Your spouse or business partner or family member might be going through a lot. You may be involved in it, but more kind of because they're going through it. Inheritances, taxes, all of these things are getting called into question. Creation of wills. Now, if you do have to create a will and it's not time sensitive, you may have more clarity about things like that in June, because Mercury is not going to be doing its retrograde thing. We'll talk about that when we get up to that part, but just to kind of give you a heads up. So definitely some tearful goodbyes or joyful goodbyes. Like, for instance, you and your partner are having a baby, and it's a bittersweet thing because your time with you and your partner or whatever your family configuration was before that is ending. But then there's a joyful new beginning, so there's like this non-negotiable transition into different phases that can be very intense, can be things you've wanted forever, can be things you do not want and are very stressful and terrible. But the happy thing here is that, at least for Capricorns, it is in a friendly angle. Okay. Now, you have other placements in your chart, besides your Cap placement. So I don't know how it's hitting those. I can't speak to that. But just from the Capricorn perspective, this is making that nice angle of opportunity. So the eclipse is happening at 14 degrees. So everyone can have the goodies from this. But those of you between 9 and 19 degrees, the closer to 4 degrees, the more of a notable kiss you get from that eclipse. So that's going to translate to the birthdays, right at the end of December and early, first days of January through the 10th or 11th of January. And the closer you are to around the 4th, 5th, or 6th, the more you get that kiss. Okay, so now let's talk about this Scorpio eclipse. The eclipse is happening in the sign of Scorpio in the 11th house. We'll break that down here in a minute. But the first most important thing to know is that it's at a favorable degree. Now, I can't see how this eclipse is affecting anything else in your chart because I can't speak to that. But as far as your Capricorn placement, this is in a friendly aspect. There's this radical change that is afoot. And it's probably going to have something to do with your network, your friends, your groups, your social circles, internet-based projects, community-based projects, or community or team or something that you're involved in, or a large organization. All right, so those things might see notable opportunities, as well as the energy of other people's money. Things having to do with shared resources, taxes, So to understand more about how these eclipses can manifest, go to Annie Botticelli on YouTube, my homepage, scroll down to the eclipse playlist, look at the eclipses in Scorpio video, because that's the sign, and then look at the eclipses in Aquarius video, or 11th house, because that's the house that is being highlighted for you. Okay, so we talked about this Venus and Cancer aspect. Now let's just talk about Mercury retrograde really quickly. Okay, so Mercury went retrograde April 21st. The pre-shadow period started April 7th, so basically all of April was kind of sinking into this inward and backward flow. April 21st through May 14th or 15th, depending on your time zone, is the actual retrograde. And then once it goes direct, it will take a couple of weeks through around May 30th to regulate and get things moving again. The month is still going to be very much covered in retrograde, but it will start to lighten after, we'll say around the 18th or 19th, because sometimes the days right around when it goes direct are a little bit more haywire. So what you're going to be dealing with is a lot of plan changes, things being called into question, uncertainty and difficulty planning far ahead. But it's a great time to just deal with what comes up and not force things by just honoring the flow. There are times to push when we want to align with the natural rhythms of the universe, and there are times to sit back and be the spider and let whatever is going to come to you into your web come in, and you deal with what comes to your web instead of trying to go far and wide and make more webs. All right. Now, it's a good time to clear out clutter, wrap up loose ends. You might be confused, but if you know that's going to happen beforehand, then you can say, well, Annie said this might happen. And then as we get into June, you should have more clarity on many topics. It's a good time for research. Good time to be, it's always a good time to be in the moment. But in the retrogrades, you really kind of have to be, because things are happening that have to be dealt with. And that's what goes on. Last minute magic is one of my favorite retrograde manifestations. So basically trying to leave yourself as unscheduled as possible will stop you from having the headache of having to erase things in your planner or delete things in your planner 1,000 times and reschedule. If you just kind of know to try to avoid planning unnecessary things. If something is necessary, then do it. You just do that. But the less you unschedule yourself, the more you leave room for when someone says, hey, you want to do this? That's the last minute magic. Okay, so then after the second half of the month, we start brewing into the direct energies, which are here for completely here by May 30th. We are going to have a Venus retrograde transit starting in July. That shadow period will start sometime in June. You can go to AnnieBAstrology.com, Annie, the letter B, astrology.com, to sign up for an exclusive content portal to get the understanding of all the retrogrades, to know when to time things for the rest of the year. But for this period of time, at least the earlier part of June is going to be really good for launches, big decisions, agreements, investing, moves, brand new projects, clarity, future planning, and pushing and initiating, and making new webs all over the place. Okay, so just understanding that. All right, then I wanted to touch on this outer planet conflict, or in the days around May 17th. You'll probably feel that for weeks before and after, because it's a big one. Of all of the outer planets, Jupiter is the best one to have a square with. It tends to be lighter. Biggest thing to watch out for here is power struggles, but overcommitment. If you're trying to one-up somebody because they're annoying you, or you're trying to show them and prove something to them, you're very likely to lock yourself into a long-term commitment that you do not want to keep up. So just be careful with what you promise or commit to at this time, because it's very likely to change very soon. All right, so you can look at the links underneath the video to find all of my things, but definitely go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, if you'd like to learn astrology. See my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. You can see the rest of the links under the video or podcast. If you're watching the video version, you can see more links here. I haven't been on camera very much, but here I am saying, have a wonderful month and see you next month. Bye.